was a kook. He ended up getting out on the highway. He said CIA was chasing us and all that. He was a kook. Nutcase.
That happens, yeah.
Yeah, he was a real guy. He was pretty scary, man. He got off on 95 in Maine. He got pull it over. Pull it now. Stop. Well, what's the matter? Stop. I said, okay. I just thought he had to take a leak. He jumped out and started running through the fucking snow. It was like 2 feet deep.
No shit?
I called the cops, 911. I said, look it, man, this kid, his mother drove him. Did you pick him up at Logan Airport, Boston? I said, yes. His mother took him from Maine. He was supposed to get on a plane to his father's to California. When the plane was on the fucking runway, he made him fucking there to turn it around and throw it there to get the state police to get. He flipped out. Let me off the plane! Let me off the plane! Yeah. So they're telling me the story. The state police, had him in a holding room, and he got out, and he escaped, and he runs out, and he flags me. And he's going to Maine, and he had a bunch of money because he was going to stay live with his father. He had like $3 grand on him. He goes, how much for Portland, Maine? I said, that's like $400. He goes, take me there. I said, you got the money? He whips out a big roll of hundreds. I said, you got it, brother. Took him to Maine. Then I called the Maine State Police when he jumped out. And they're like, they've been looking for that kid for the last 10 hours, man. I said, well, he jumped off like my head's 6 right before Portland. Out of my cab. While you were moving, I said, no. As soon as I pulled on the breakdown lane, he was just freaking out. Like, he said someone was following us. They said, yeah, he has mental problems. So I said, well, he's okay. I mean, he didn't jump out while I was moving. He didn't get hit by a car. He's just wandering around the woods by exit 6. I told him. So don't think he's a moose and shoot him or something, So they were like, you want to come in? I said, I don't want to get involved. I only took him in the cab. You know what I mean? That's it. I'll give you my name, my phone number. I said, I don't want to come in. It was already like 2 in the morning. I didn't feel like going there for 5 hours. Over some kook. What a nuts. They're following us the whole way up 95. I look, and he'd be laying on the seat smoking a cigarette. I said, what are you doing? They're behind us. I said, buddy, there's hundreds of cars behind us. No, they've been following us since the airport. I said, buddy, there's been cars behind us since we left. We're on 95. It's 11 o'clock at night. Come on, man. He was nuts. Scared the shit out of me a little bit. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I said, they're going to find me dead on the side of 95, and this kid's footprints going off into the woods. I'm telling you, I figured he's going to put on a butcher knife and I can just flip out. That's how crazy he was. I was really nervous of him, So when he said pull over, I said, no problem, buddy. I didn't want to argue with him. That was one of the craziest fears I probably took in my life.